Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 12 through 14 and 19. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto you are also called, and has professed a good profession before many witnesses. I give you charge in the sight of Elohim, who quickeneth all things, and before the Mashiach Yahshua, that you keep this commandment without spot, unrebukable, until the appearing of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Hold On.
Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. And everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Hold on. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Hold on. 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 And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Walk on. Walk on. Walk on. Walk on. Keep walking. Walk on. And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Pray on. Pray on. Pray on. Like Daniel prayed. Pray on. Pray on. Pray on. And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Sing on. Sing on. Oh, sing on. Just a little while longer. And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Hold on. And everything will be alright. And everything will be alright. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. And everything
The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speaks, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5, verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 through 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into a place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, 20 through verse 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am set down my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to another day of rest, Yahweh's day of rest, the Shabbat. As we go through the days and go through our lives, we continue to see what happens to us as a people. But we can also see that things are turning up quickly as far as the things going on in this daughter of Babylon and around the world. But we still need to be focused on who we are as a people, as a nation. We still need to be mindful of who we are and what we carry. Today's class is entitled Cursed but Still a Blessing. Cursed but still a blessing. Although we are a cursed people, we're not cursed as some would suppose, cursed black. We're a people under curses due to disobedience. There's a big difference. But we still carry the blessing given to Abraham. Let's get into the scriptures and we'll go over those blessings. Today we're going to begin in, well, let me just read this from Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 and 3. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house unto a land that I will show you, and I'll make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I'll bless them that bless you, and curse him that curses you, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. That was the promise given to Father Abraham, or Abram at the time. we still carry that blessing. He said, "And you shall all nations, all families of the earth be blessed." We are those descendants. So we have to understand that even though we're under the curses, we still carry the blessings for the families of the earth. Let's begin in Matthew chapter 9, and we're going to read verses 18 through 34. Matthew chapter 9, verses 18 through 34. So when we're out and about and we're doing our own dealings and having our own conversations, even around people, we have to be mindful of what is still on us. We may not feel like a blessed people, but believe me, the nations know how to benefit from the blessings of us who don't feel like we're a blessed people. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 18.
While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler, and worshipped him, saying, My daughter is even now dead, but come and lay your hand upon her, and she shall live. And Yahshua arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And, behold, a woman, which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him, and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, If I may but touch his garment, I should be whole. But Yahshua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Your faith has made you whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. And when Yahshua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels, the people making a noise, he said unto them, Give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleeps. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose. And the fame hereof went abroad into all that land.
So do you think that the nations don't know the fame of us and what we have been able to accomplish and achieve over the decades, over the centuries as a people? When you look at history, everywhere that we've been held captives, those nations have prospered into superpowers. So they're aware of who we are. They're aware of the blessings that we carry. We just don't understand because we see the trials and tribulations that we go through, so we don't feel like a blessed people. But the blessings are still upon us. That lady knew enough that if she just touched the hem of Yahshua's garment, she believed within herself that it would give her a blessing. We still go through that to this day where people feel like, if I just touch one of them. Those of us who are in the service industry that go out into homes and stuff, we've gone through it where they come and they touch your head. They want to touch your head, put their hand on their shoulders. They want to offer you something while you're there. It's because they're trying to get a blessing. What did Yahweh said? I will bless those that bless you. So they might not like you, but they already know the formula. If I give them a blessing, I expect that I'm going to get blessed. You got to think about even the people that's in the land now. When Yahweh first rejected us from the land, the people who were in the land could not survive in the land. They had to bring one of the priests back in order to teach them the way of Elohim. Even though Yahweh still let them get away with stuff, but it still took one of us being back there for them to benefit from any kind of blessings. Then we move on in the same token. Yahshua goes somewhere and they're laughing him to scorn because they don't believe that he can do it. We've gone through that. We can look back in our history and see what we've gone through that. We weren't allowed to be quarterbacks. Why? We weren't smart enough to be quarterbacks. We couldn't think in that position. What's happening now? We dominate in every arena. We weren't supposed to be able to play golf. That was their sport, so they made it expensive to keep us out. What happened? A tiger hit the trail. The next one was tennis. I don't know how many of us or how many people have actually tried to go out to see what it costs just to put your children in tennis classes, in golf classes. They make these things extremely expensive so it can be exclusive. But once we get through the door, what they say, there goes the neighborhood. But they still benefit and profit, even though we make it through the door because we have to go to them for sponsorship. So they're still being blessed. You have something, Priest Mika?
Yeah, they try to. But when you read on verse 24, and it says, laugh them to scorn, what they're trying to do is discourage you of the power that you do possess.
Yes.
So even if you are good, they're going to laugh you to scorn, so you won't believe in yourself.
Yes.
So you will not put forth the effort.
And sometimes we have to deal with them for training to get to these positions, and they will deliberately sabotage you, so you're not able to fully compete with them, unless somebody else is on the outside looking in and say, nah, I see what's going on here. But if you're smart enough to listen, they'll say, I see where they let you fall right here. They didn't completely prepare you for this. You have to think about it. Who trained Tiger Woods? He don't want to give him the credit. He want to call himself Carblasian, but who trained him? His father did. Do you think under their institution he would have made it where he made it? Who trained Serena and Venus? Their father did. So you have to see that it's usually us standing in for our children for them to excel in those arenas. Because if we allow for them to be the ones to catapult our children, they're going to look out for their own. Like Priest Mikael said, yes, they laughed him to scorn. But you know what? He kept his confidence. And since you're not worthy of me, get out the room. Get out the room so I can do what I've got to do. Go ahead.
Verse 27, and when Yahshua departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying, saying, You son of David, have mercy on us.
How is it the blind know who's carrying the blessing? So if the blind know who's carrying the blessing, and we can't see, what does that make us? Is there something beyond being blind? What does that make us if we can't see that we carry the blessings? Even during a time of being under curses. I mean, somebody tell me if there's something beyond being blind. Go ahead.
And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him. And Yahshua said unto them, Believe you that I am able to do this? They said unto him, Yes, Adonai. Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to your faith be it unto you. And their eyes were opened. And Yahshua straightly charged them, saying, See that no man knows it.
You know what's interesting even about this? They can't see physically, but their spiritual eyes are open to the point that they could find him and say, yes, I believe. We sit here and we see things and understand things and we comment on these things and still go against these things. We sit behind these chairs and some of us in these chairs and we'll hear Elder Priest say something and we're looking like, man, I know you weren't in my house, so how do you know that? But yet still, we don't go to the man and see that the man is a vessel of Yahweh. We'll still come up against the man and don't see the man as a vessel of Yahweh. You want to know why? Because we only understand one part of it. The man. He's a man. When I sit behind here, I pray and I ask Yahweh to use me as his mouthpiece. Let his words come out of my mouth. My brother Mikael will say, stick to what's on the paper. It's hard to stick to what's on the paper when you're not in charge of your own mouth. So, I know what's on the paper, but when the angel says, no, Kish, this is what I need you to say from behind this altar, I have no clue what y'all got going on in your life. I get up from behind the altar and somebody will tell me something that, okay, I didn't know. I'm not in charge here. But if you guys can see these things and still want to go against the servants, then you're the ones that's truly blind. We're the ones that's truly blind. I think we'd rather have spiritual sight over the physical sight, because the spiritual sight is what's going to warn you not to do certain things. Go ahead.
But they, when they were departed, spread abroad his fame in all that country. As they went out, behold, they brought to him a dumb man possessed with a devil. And when the devil was cast out, the dumb spake. And the multitudes marveled, saying, it was never so seen in Israel. But the Pharisees said, he cast out devils through the prince of devils.
And who is that? Haters amongst ourselves? Haters amongst our own people? Our biggest adversaries are our own people. But why? Is it that you're envious that you don't possess that? But the problem is we all possess it as the children of Israel. But we have to be obedient. We have to believe that we are those people. They knew they were those people at that time and still were combative. Why? Jealousy, envy. We all possess it. We just have to know how to use it and embrace it. And encourage one another in truth and righteousness. You look like you got something there, Brother Mikael.
It says, Yahshua said, see that no man knows it. A lot of times, when we read this, we read, and then that person who was blessed go back and tell others, right? Yahweh says, see that no man knows it. So sometimes you be talking, and it still get past that person that's right directly in front of you, because they can't see that what you was given was spiritually given. You can see, just as these blind men were there. They was physically blind, but they can see. They can see spiritually. That means when he talked, they listen, they hear him. But when he says, see that no man knows it, he's probably saying that, hey, look, you can go out there and talk all you want, but they're not going to be able to see. You can see because you can spiritually see. I gave you spiritual eyes so you can see. They're not going to be able to see. See that no man knows it. You're going to talk all day, but they're not going to be able to receive that. If I'm standing here and they're not able to receive it, but you was able to receive it, you can talk all day. They're not going to be able to receive that.
You know, the funny thing is, when the one that's being used don't see it, but somebody else can see it. You're the vessel he's using, but you don't see what's going on. You don't understand the moment that you're in until later on somebody say, you know, what you talked about behind the altar is what I've got going on. Oh, really? Okay. But that person sees it. You, the deliverer, is blind to it. And sometimes it has to be that way, least it comes out with any type of malice. So because I'm blind to the situation, but I'm delivering the situation, I'm not hesitant to bite my tongue on how I want to deliver it. The angel says, nah, this is what you need to say, and I throw it out plain and blank on the table. And if your feelings is hurt, talk to him. I didn't know. Let's go to Galatians chapter 3. It's a lot of times I get in trouble. Oh, I know you went and told priest. I ain't talked to elder about nothing. But that should be a sign to leave that man alone. Galatians chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 10 through 14.
For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, curses everyone that continues not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them.
So, do we understand that? We think that you got to be just a foul individual to be cursed. We think you got to do something extreme to be cursed. But look at the simple equation here. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continues not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. So if we're not striving to do all things in the book, then guess what? We're under the curses. I'm not the best servant. So I know I still have things to work off. At least I fool myself and fall short of the glory of being able to enter into the kingdom. But that's the equation that we have to understand. We got to get in our books. And a lot of us know what to do, we just won't do it. So it's not even about getting in the books. We now have to start walking the walk and not just talking. I know people who are great conversationists when it comes to this word. But then you look at what they do apply to their lives. How do they instruct other people? I don't care if you're in the word or not, if you're a heathen or not. My instruction needs to be the same for the heathen as it is for a brother or sister in the word. Lest I be a hypocrite. The problem with sitting in certain positions is, even when you're dealing with your family and your children. I've had to ask one of my daughters one time, so how do you want me to answer this question? As a priest or as a father? She said, as a father. I say, guess what? The mouth that is attached to the father is the same mouth that's attached to the priest. I'm sorry. I can't change the way this is going to come out. Yet we want to have conversations differently depending on who we're talking to. I don't care who you are. If I'm around and you're bringing the word incorrect, I'm correcting you. I will not tell anyone, heathen or in the word, that you can do certain things that goes against the scripture. I don't care if you're going against the dietary laws, the moral laws, or the sacrificial laws, which we don't have to deal with right now. So definitely I have to be on my P's and Q's when I'm talking about the moral and the dietary laws. I cannot instruct someone to go eat pork because they're a heathen. My youngest is 14 right now. There was some years back, I think he might have been 10. My sister came to visit. My niece, we went out to eat. My niece decided that she was going to get ham on her plate. And this young man turned over and looked at her. Do not touch me till after you have washed your hands. I said, wow. And he was serious. No, you just touched the pork and you just ate pork. Don't you touch me till after you've washed your hands. So hence, raise up a child in the way that they should go. Because some of us as adults wouldn't even say that. So you see, we can learn from a child. It said even a child should lead them. Sometimes we have to sit back and watch our children navigate. And we can learn a lot from them. Because right now, these young children are carrying more of the blessings than we are, because they are walking this walk better than us, and they don't have the sins on them that we have on us. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 11. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of Elohim. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And the law is not faith, but the man that does them shall live in them. The Mashiach has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, curses everyone that hangs on the tree. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahshua the Mashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith.
That the blessing of Abraham might come on to the Gentiles through Yahshua HaMashiach. So back to what I mentioned in the beginning. What was the blessing of Abraham? That all the families of the earth should be blessed through him. Being the descendants of Abraham, that blessing passes down. We can see it even passed down to Yahshua. So we still carry that. We still have to be mindful how we deal. Let's go to Acts chapter 19. And even in Yahshua, we see it even went further because we're still being hanged on trees. So doesn't it say, cursed is everyone that hangs on a tree? Acts chapter 19, and we're going to start at verse 11.
And Elohim wrought special miracles by the hands of Saul, so that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the disease departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them. Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits, the name of the Adonai Yahshua, saying, We adjure you by Yahshua whom Saul preaches.
So here we go once again. We got these Yehudims who through jealousy either feel like you cannot do something or they can do it because you can do it. We read earlier where Yahshua said that he only does these he throws out devils through the devil. Now we got another set who figure they can do what Saul do because, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Come on, man. We all have that spirit, that competitive nature. If you can do it, I can do it. Hey, I believe if Spud Webb can dunk, I can dunk too, but it hasn't happened yet. That's a gift and ability that he has. But somewhere within him, he didn't let certain limitations stop him from achieving. So when do we realize what's within us and what's our strength? And yet put forth maximum effort to master that strength. Come on, man. You got people who can doggone there touch the rim but can't dunk. How tall was Spud?
5 something.
5 feet something, and the man could dunk.
Mm-hmm.
The man can dunk. I know 6-foot brothers, I ain't gonna call no name, they can't dunk. Myself. But skill sets. But that is the thing. Why do we envy one another? Why don't we look for our perfect gift and master that perfect gift? And then as a combination, when we come together, the cord is that much stronger. The family unity is that much stronger. The nation is that much stronger. Somebody come and say, hey, Kish, you cut hair? Nah, but I know a brother who does. Right over there. He's good at what he does. Least you come to me and push me, or I get envious and say, yeah, man, I can do it. And you end up with an Egyptian. You know, hey, you came in with a head full of hair, now you walking out with a shiny. Why? Because I envied what my brother Emmanuel can do. I can do you a fade, Yeah, it's all going to fade away. That's what's going to happen. All your hair going to fade away. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 14. And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Yehudi, a chief of the priests, which did so.
So you see how many envious people this is? 7. 7 brothers. So that means some conversations were being had. 7 of them sitting around somewhere. Oh, he ain't all that. We can do that too. One brother should have said, man, we need to stop. Leave that man alone. But they were united as a family. And they fell as a family. Somebody has to step out and say, no, I'm going to uphold the family. This is stupidness. Stop. Where's the voice of reasoning? Now, it says the sons of Sceva. Did the dad know what was going on? Was he privy to this envy that they had and still allowed for his sons to go run up into this problem? Go ahead. I see you.
And the chief of one priest, which did so.
Exactly. But what? My dad's a priest. I should be able to do this too, or we should be able to do this too.
And the king, Judah's king.
At some point, you need to learn your limitations and leave people that hell alone. Respect people's ability. Y'all heard the song, I can't woo, 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 like my brother Yonah, so I leave it alone. I'm lyrical, but I know my limitations. I can write you a song. Every man has their perfect gift. But at the same token, let's uplift each other in the gift and not be envious. Those perfect gifts are our blessings. A song is a blessing to the ear. The right song. It's a blessing to the soul. The right song. So you see, we're still carrying the blessings. We've all had opportunities to be a blessing in the wrong way, a blessing to the world. But for those of us who can look back, we can now say, hallelujah. You kept me from that debauchery. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahshua I know, and Saul I know, but who are you? And the man in whom the evil spirit it was leapt on them, and overcame them, and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded.
Now, why does he know Yahshua? And why does he know Saul? They've been putting in works. They've been doing the do. So sometimes when you're going through stuff, just know the evil spirit knows who you are and been watching you. Those trials and tribulations and those temptations is to see how much you can persevere. See how far you can go down this road of tribulation. At a certain point, their strength was known by the evil spirit. Nah, I know them. I don't know you. We don't know you around these parts. They've put in work. And I'm sure if he just mentioned Yahshua and Saul, and I'm sure if it had come down to it, he'd say, Cephas, I know too. So when you go out to attempt something, what's the evil spirit saying about you? We all possess the blessings, the knowledge, but where do we carry it? They were being envious in something that did not pertain to them. It's not their gift. We've got people, I've said it in a previous class. Hey, man, we've got so many talented people in the building. It's scary. Some of them, you may not hear them utter a word till you hear a poem put out and you say, what? That came from who? That brother, that sister, you mean they wrote that poem? Those lyrics came from them? For what? There's no need to brag and boast. Let the work speak for our Elohim. Let his name be exalted. But that gift that you carry is a blessing. But how do you use it? Go ahead.
And this was known to all the Yehudis and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus. And fear fell on all of them. And the name of namely the Adonai Yahshua was magnified. And many that believed came and confessed and showed their deeds. Many of them also, which used curious arts, brought their books together and burnt them before all men. And they counted the price of them and found it 50,000 pieces of silver. So mightily grew the word of Elohim and prevailed.
And here's another thing. Many of them also, which used curious arts, brought their books together and burnt them before all men. They weren't hiding their deeds. At this point, they're letting everything be revealed. So imagine if you're standing there and you say, bruh, that was what you was off into? Here's the thing about it. Was. They were not afraid to bring out, I'm getting past this, I'm getting over this. But some of us, we hold things that we've been off into as shame. No, when you're coming out of it, you should be able to say, nah, I used to do this. At least somebody try to hold something over you when they find out. No, bro, you can't blackmail me with what I used to do. I'll tell on myself. It's out in the open. They're bringing it out. Because what? It's a change of life. So now I don't have to carry this secret guilt inside of me anymore. I let it go. At least any finding out think they have something over me. That's why it says, confess your sins one to another. This is why a lot of us can't get off of the first step. Because we're still holding on to all those old baggages that's still in the closet. They're no longer in the closet, hidden. We just holding on to them in a bag on our shoulder. Instead of just letting it go so we can move on. It's these little things that get us trapped that once something comes out in the open, we're caught in our feelings and we're running and dodging and hiding and can't move on to the next step down the road to our salvation. Where we at, brother? We'll finish with that, right?
Yes.
Let's go to Acts chapter 22. And we're going to start at verse 1.
Men, brothers, and fathers, hear you my defense, which I make now unto you. And when they heard that he spake in Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silence. And he said, I am verily a man which am a Yehudi, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers.
Hold on. Did he say he was taught? Mm-hmm. This is Saul. Mm-hmm. Saul said, I was brought up at the feet of Gamaliel, and I was taught. Not I self-learned. Mm-hmm. Not it was given to me. Not I saw a vision. Not I had an inspiration, an inclination. But I was taught. Right? Mm-hmm. Can you read that again? I mean, I might have missed that. Was I misunderstanding something?
No. And taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers.
So he had a teacher to teach him of the law. He didn't go on his own interpretation of the law. He didn't go by what he felt and believed of the law. Somebody taught him in the perfect manner of the law of our fathers.
Now, he was a Yehudi. He wasn't just born into it. He was taught still.
Okay. But the perfect law of the fathers. So this is from generation to generation. This wasn't something that he made up along the way when he saw the light. Okay. Go ahead.
And was zealous towards Elohim, as you all are this day. And I persecuted this way unto the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women.
So I had some shortcomings. I didn't understand everything.
Yes.
I did some wrongs. I made some mistakes. I'm not a perfect man. But yet I'm seeking perfection. Yet I'm able to openly speak about my shortcomings. So that way, them other people behind there can't hold it against me. Because there's some Yehudims back there who's still trying to hold it against me, but I'm going to go ahead and speak it. I'm going to tell my own story so you can hear it from my mouth. That I know that I'm a sinner. That I know that I persecuted my own people. That I know there was a point in time that I didn't believe in Yahshua HaMashiach. But I still had a skill set, though. My skill set is I knew the law. I was taught in the law. The natural law. But I was missing some spiritual stuff. Go ahead.
Verse 5. As also the high priest does bear me witness in all the estate of the elders.
So there's people that can bear witness that I'm this type of dude, that I was this type of dude. You can go ask. But before anybody else come tell you, I'm going to tell you. But now if you want to go corroborate my story, you can go ask them. That I was that dirty, low down type of, at one point in time. Go ahead.
From whom also I received letters unto the brothers, and went to Damascus to bring them which were there bound unto Jerusalem for to be punished. And it came to pass that, as I made my journey, and was come near unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me.
But you know the difference with Saul? Saul is walking. It's not a perfect walk, but he's walking. And as far as he knows at this point in time, he's walking in all righteousness. But he is walking. And open to correction on his walk when it was necessary. Some of us get to walking and think we already started out perfect. So when correction comes, we can't deal with it, so we take off and run. But he was walking. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And it came to pass that, as I made my journey, and was come near unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. And I fell unto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecute me? And I answered, Who are you, Adonai? And he said unto me, I am Yahshua of Nazareth, whom you persecute. And they that were with me saw indeed the light, and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, what shall I do, Adonai? And the Adonai said unto me, arise, and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told of you all things which are appointed for you to do.
Now, he's being given instructions to go get instructions. Some of us can't even deal with the first set of instructions, much less to go and get more instructions. Why can't you just tell me? I'm here right now. I mean, you the Adonai. You know all things. Why I got to go listen to that man? Why don't you just tell me? Go ahead.
Not just that man. Why do I go to them people? Damascus. Going to Damascus. Go where you've been persecuting them people. Go over there and get those people.
But your understanding is with them people that you've been persecuting. You can't go past this level till you go to them that you've been persecuting. They hold your blessing. Your blessing to move forward is in that place with them people who you have been accursed to. You've been imprisoning those people. So in their eyes, you're a curse when you show up. But I need you to move to the next step. To not be a curse and a terror onto them, but to now move in transition to be a blessing. But first, I need you to take these instructions to go get those instructions. Go ahead, priest.
But his understanding was of something of righteousness.
Right.
So he thought he was doing everything correct according to the doctrine that he was given since a kid.
Right. But like I said, at some point, he wasn't stuck in that. He was open to change when the change came. We have people who believe that because they were raised up knowing the Bible, so they believe they know the Bible, that you can't say anything to them. Where is your future on this road to salvation if you're not open to correction? If you're not open to get instructions, to go get instructions. Then you're a lost cause. It says, be as these little children. Children are always open to learn. Always accepting of new things. Used to be, because this new generation of children that I see, you know what I'm saying? At 2 years old, they already the parents. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you, go sit down. No. Man, who are you talking to? I don't want to. Man, I will rip your head off. So this new generation of children is something else. We laughing about it, but the parents are to blame. The grandparents are to blame. Uncles, aunts, spiritual brothers and sisters are to blame. But even though I took it to the level of the nation being the blame, first, the mother and the father has to be open to the village being able to correct the child. I'm not going to fight you to make your child something. That's why I say this generation cannot understand or even relate or even respect the struggles of the past generation, because what? We have let them escape the realities of rigidness, harshness, discipline, ambition, drive, focus. We are to blame. Because what? We look at the chastisement that we got and say, oh, I'm not going to raise my child like that. But it made you who you are. What you need to do is sit down and really think about, okay, had my parent not do this, this, and that, where would I be? I thought it mean when I said, Mom, can you take me to work? No, I will give you bus fare. But you're not doing nothing. And that's my plan, to do nothing. But you know what? That drive gave me the drive to want my own drive. My son bought a shirt once, and I love the statement, you can't teach ambition. Ambition is what had Saul on the road taking care of his business. I must by all means stop this from spreading to the nation. His ambitions was wrong to an extent, but that ambition kept him going. We call it drive, but it's ambition. It's ambition that said, yeah, I need letters to go over here and deal with these people because I hear that they dealing off in this stuff. It's that same drive that they had and they knew, yeah, that's my man. He is who I need. But I need him to rack up some stuff on his account first so that later on I'll show him how much he owed me. Yeah, remember you did all this? Yeah, you owe me. So that same drive and ambition that you had, I need you to keep it going. But now I need you to turn in this way, this direction. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 11. And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came into Damascus. And one, Ananias, a devout man, according to the law, having a good report of all Yehudis, which dwelt there, came unto me, and stood, and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. In the same hour I looked up upon him, and he said, The Elohim of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will, and see that just one, and should hear the voice of his mouth.
Now, Ananias says, receive your sight. Right? Like Priest Mikael said, he had to go back to Damascus to them people that he's been persecuting. We understand receive your sight meant both natural and spiritual. He received his natural sight and his spiritual sight. But he had to go to that place, to that man. Can we follow our instructions? Can we do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it? When I was given this, I don't know nothing about this. I said, you know what? Yahweh ain't giving me nothing else. Let me just keep down the path that I was given. Do we do that? When we're out and about and something comes to us, spiritual, do we jot it down and say, you know what, I don't know what this is about right now, but let me just write this down. And you might find that you go back and you look at it again. And a certain scripture might come to you that goes under that, and you just start building, you start building, and you start building. And before you know it, you don't put your own class together. You don't put something together that you can teach or learn from, because while you're jotting it down, you're learning. Your spirit is being fed. There's nothing wrong with jotting stuff down. Understand our elder priest's position. I don't sit back here on the Shabbat. This is his. But I understood last night when I sent my last slide at 4 o'clock this morning. I understand what his Sabbath night is like. So I went to bed at 4, and still got up and laying there, and here comes another scripture. Oh, I guess this is the conclusion. But I now have to go and add my conclusion. Not only do I have to add my conclusion, and now I got to say, well, what? You want me to put a definition? What? You want me to make another slide? Okay. I'm a servant. Well, we're all servants. But in what capacity are you willing to serve? Are you willing to be inconvenienced when that voice says, get up and go do this? But I've been inconvenienced. The training was a long time ago when I used to wake up in the middle of the night to write rap lyrics. So now that when scripture in classes are being given, how disrespectful is it for me not to get up and jot those things down? Man, I gave you practice in the stuff you wanted to do. Now you my servant, this is how I need you to be diligent the same way. Go ahead.
Verse 15, for you shall be his witness unto all men for what you have seen and heard. And now, why tarry you? Arise and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Adonai. And it came to pass that when I was come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance, and saw him saying unto me, make haste, and get you quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. And I said, Adonai, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every synagogue them that believed on you. And when the blood of your martyr, Stephen, was shed, I also was standing by and consenting unto his death, and kept the raiment of them that slew him.
So you understand this whole thing that this man is dropping off, this weight that he's letting go? Do you understand that once put on the path, he's talking about him being on the path when he's put on the path. This is after the situation has happened. We don't know how much years into his walk that he's talking about this. But this is something that he's had to carry. Now he's releasing it. I was there when Stephen was killed. I held the robes of these people. After today, when I let this loose, I don't have to carry this anymore. I don't have to deal with this anymore. I'm not saying I forgot, but the weight of confession, I'm letting it go. I'm talking to all of y'all, letting y'all know I know what kind of man I was. These people all know what kind of man I was. Because guess what? He's not in Jerusalem talking to these people. He's not talking to the Yehudims. When he's out and about, he's not dealing with Yehudims. So when I get back to the Yehudims, I'm not afraid to tell you, yes, I know what kind of man I was. I know how y'all looking at me. I know how y'all see me. I know what I did. That's the problem with some of us. We're afraid to talk about what we did. I'm a man just like any other man. I've talked to a young brother before, and the young brother said to me, Kish, I'd never seen you like that. Brother, don't put me on a pedestal. I've got a past. But I'm not afraid to talk about my past. At least someone else knowing me from the past come up and tell you the past, and now you got some indignation with me as if I was passing myself off as holier than thou. No, I'm not holier than thou. I'm just trying to be the servant that my Elohim wants me to be. I'm trying to be the blessing to my people that I need to be, even if it's just a good word, this righteous word. I'm trying to find my path just like anybody else. You have something there, Priest Mikael?
Yeah, if you got to think if Saul hadn't accepted the instruction that he was given when he was told to go to Damascus, if he would have ever seen his foulness, or if he would have ever knew that he was wrong, because in the time that he sat there during the bloodshed of this servant Stephen, he stood by and consented. As he said, he stood by there, he consented, he rooted it on. And he did it, but he didn't see where he was wrong.
If he was never visited, he in his eyesight, it's not wrong.
Right, it's not
He was
wrong.
doing the right job so much that he was asking for license to go do this. He's gung-ho about this job because in his mind, this is all righteousness. So, yes, if he never got visited and he never went to Damascus, there would have been no reason for self-check, self-examination. Because in his mind, while he's doing the job, he is in the right. They're wrong, I'm right.
Mm-hmm. So when you get to this part right here and 20, you have to think that, it became heavy on him once his eyes were open.
Yes.
His eyes weren't open before then, not to this level of understanding. Once his eyes were open to this level of understanding, he wasted no time repenting for the things. Those things came right back to his memory. He said, oh, man, I stood there while, hold on, this was going on, this was going on. Man, I stood there and watched it.
But look who he's talking to. He's making his confession in front of the people that he persecuted, that he was a curse to. Remember in the beginning, it says, and when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them. So he's back speaking to his people who didn't believe he was a Hebrew. So now he's speaking to them, letting them know, yeah, man, this is the weight I've been carrying. But my confession is to who? Those that I offended. Those that I did wrong. This confession don't make no sense to the Gentiles. I came through the door looking shiny to you guys. I was golden to y'all when I came through because you don't know nothing about me. I can tell you anything and you're going to believe it. But no, let me talk to the people that know me, know my past, the people I've wronged. This is a confession. This is a weight being lifted. But this is what we don't do, most of us. We'll go talk to other people. You finished that, my brother?
Verse 21. And he said unto me, depart, for I will send you far from hence unto the Gentiles.
I'm going to send you to safety for now. But during the time of safety, what does that do while he's in the Gentiles? This allows you the opportunity to get your game right. Get your head in the game. Because like you said, this is a heavy burden. I need you to go over here, meditate and deal with this, but then you can get your head in the game and still then go deal with the Yehudims from time to time. Let's go to Numbers chapter 11. A lot of people want to get in the Word and walk the walk, and it's all good and dandy when things are going your way. While no persecution is coming at you from those around you that's walking with you. So it's all good. But what happens when the persecution comes from those within? How do you deal with that? When the correction comes from those within that you laughing and joking with all day long. But have you ever thought to yourself, okay, let me be open to where my brother or sister is able to come and talk to me, or do we put up a defense so that we're not approachable? I keep telling people, y'all, Christian elders close. Where y'all at when I'm getting my behind handed to me? We all have had classes that deal with us. And nobody else knows that that class is dealing with us. But you know the difference between when I get classes dealing with me and y'all? I still got to read the scriptures. And I don't get to tear up because then I don't see the words properly. But it's all fun and games when you're sitting on the other side. You go through a 2-hour class handing you your behind, and you got to read for 2 hours. You want to be a turtle and go inside your own shell. But when you reach to certain things, you always say, what? You better not cry. You better not take that head covering off. You got a job to do. Do your job. And when you get home, then you could go cry about it. But right now, you got a job to do. So forgive me if I don't feel compassionate when I see people get corrected and they run off. Because I've sat in the seat and had to read in the seat and squirm and burn in the seat. But I stayed in my seat. We're all servants. On what level are you willing to serve? Whether you are serving willingly or unwillingly, you're serving. We are the blessings to the nations. You're going to serve in some capacity. You don't get to be part of the audience when you're Israel. You are the characters and the players. Good, bad, and indifferent. You are on the world stage. And all eyes are on you all the time. So how do you fare in the end? Do you do the Yehudis? Or you do the Cephas and repent 3 times and put yourself back in good standards? We've got examples. Just got to figure out which example we want to follow. Deuteronomy chapter 27. Numbers chapter 11. And start that at verse 1, please.
And when the people complained, it displeased Yahweh. And Yahweh heard it. And his anger was kindled. And the fire of Yahweh burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moshe. And when Moshe prayed unto Yahweh, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Tabra, because the fire of Yahweh burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell at lust. And the children of Israel also wept again, and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remembered the fish, which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of belgum. And the people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moshe heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled greatly. Moshe also was displeased. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, Wherefore have you afflicted your servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay all the burdens of all these people upon me? Have I conceived all these people? Have I begotten them? That they should say unto me, Carry them in your bosom? as a nursing father bears a sucking child, unto the land which you swear unto their fathers? Where should I have flesh to give unto all these people? For they weep unto me, saying, Give us flesh, that we may eat. I am not able to bear all these people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if you deal thus with me, kill me, I pray you, out of hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness.
So at the point of this is the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. But we see who is being blessed by the children of Israel. The mixed multitude got what they wanted by complaining. We took it to Yahweh and they got the food. They were the ones who went a lusting. We complained and they got the blessing. So we have to understand how we are a blessing to the nations. Just in simple prayer and supplications, others that were around got blessed when it wasn't even our thought process. So you see how sometimes people can push you to go pray for something as if it's your cause, but they still get blessed from it? Got to be careful who we're around and what we're doing. You won't get punished for it. They done got blessed from it. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 27. Remember at one point, Yahweh had them eat so much flesh that it shot through their nostrils. I'm sure that was also brought on by some other people. For the most part, man, we some simple, easygoing people. We don't complain about certain things like that until other people put it in our mind, and then we start envying those people or desiring what they desire. Go ahead. Deuteronomy chapter 27, we're going to read verses 9 through 13.
And Moshe and the priests, the Levites, spake unto all Israel, saying, Take heed and hearken, O Israel. This day you are become the people of Yahweh your Elohim. You shall therefore obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and do his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day. And Moshe charged the people the same day, saying, These shall stand upon the mount of Gerizim to bless the people. When you are come over Jordan, Simeon, Levi, and Yehuda, and Issachar, and Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand upon the mount, Ebal, to curse Reuben, Gad, Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali.
Now, do we see what just happened there?
Split.
Do y'all see what just happened there? Half of Israel is a blessing, and half of Israel can curse. I need to read it again. He said, These shall stand upon Mount Gerizim to bless the people. These will bless the people. When you come over Jordan. The people who gonna bless the people? Simeon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand upon Mount Ebal to curse Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. So what does that mean? We have the power of blessing and cursing. See the power that we have with our Elohim? See the power that was given to us? But if you realize all the tribes don't have the power of blessing, all the tribes don't possess the power of cursing, then you can understand why people want to be Judah. Not only you talking about kings, but they also have what? They're a part of the tribes that possess blessing. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to read verses 15 through 62.
But it shall come to pass, If you will not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field. Cursed shall your basket and your store. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your kind and the flocks of your sheep. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. Yahweh shall send upon you cursings, vexation, and rebuke in all that you set your hand unto for to do, until you be destroyed, until you perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doings, whereby you have forsaken me.
So the wickedness of our doings is what? Forsaking Yahweh. How do you forsake Yahweh? By not following his law, statutes, and commandments. That's wickedness. That's how you forsake your Elohim. Go ahead.
Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto you, until he have consumed you from off the land, whether you go to possess it. Yahweh shall smite you with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heaven that is over your head shall be brass, and the earth that is under you shall be iron. Yahweh shall make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon you until you be destroyed. Yahweh shall cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And your carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away.
So we understand once again, like I said in the opening, we're not cursed as some people believed, as in cursed black. We're under curses for disobedience, for forsaking our Elohim. My brother, go ahead and jump to verse 62 for me, Priest Mikael.
Verse 62. And you shall be left few in number, whereas you were, as the stars of heaven for multitude, because you would not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim.
And you shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude. This is hard to even conceive right now, when there's so much of us on this earth, so much of us as a people. But now let's make some sense of you shall be left few in number, not only where they're killing us off, let's also remember 2/3 of the children of Israel shall be cut off. At that point, we're going to be few in number. 2/3 of the children of Israel are going to be cut off. My brother, can you read the definition for curse for me, please?
Curse, from H2764, chirum, physically as shutting in a net, either literally or figuratively, usually a doomed object, abstractly extermination. A cursed thing, dedicated thing, things which should have been utterly destroyed, appointed to utter destruction, devoted thing, net.
Wasn't there a point where Yahweh wanted to utterly destroy us when he told Moshe, I'll make a nation out of you, I'll kill them?
Yep.
So don't we see the blessings of not being utterly destroyed? Even in this place, as much as we go through, somehow we're still preserved and we still survive and we still make it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 37, and we're going to read verses 23 through 36.
Genesis chapter 37, verse 23. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brother, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balms and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Yehudah said unto his brothers, What profit is it if we slay our brother, and conceal his blood. Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers were content.
That's the problem we don't see sometimes, is we don't see how we're a blessing to one another. So we're either quick to want to get out of the presence of that person or get that person away from us. Because what? Familiarity breeds contempt. I see what you do every day, so no big deal to me. Go ahead.
Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit. And behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brothers, and said, The child is not. And I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed the kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be your son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast has devoured him. And Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Yaakov rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave until my son's mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 15. We're going to read verses 15 through 26, because at this point, these brothers can't see the blessing that Joseph carries. All they hear is dreams, and these dreams are a curse onto them. So they can't appreciate him being around. But let's see what happens. Let's go to Genesis chapter 50, and we're going to read verses 15 through 26.
And when Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us.
So just to bring it up to speed, Joseph's gone through all this stuff. He's come into position, hasn't seen his brothers in years. Had to save their lives as far as not being killed off by the famine. The father's dead. Now they believe it's time for him to get some get back. Of course, he can get back because he is in a situation of power where he can get back. Go ahead.
And, verse 16, and they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Your father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did unto you evil. And now, we pray you, forgive the trespass of your servants, of Elohim, of your father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brothers also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be your servants.
Can we understand why Joseph is weeping? Y'all coming to me with y'all guilt. Do y'all really think I'm like that? Sometimes people will approach you in how they think you're going to react because of what they got inside of them and how they would have done. And sometimes those approach will break your heart. It's like, dude, that's what you really thought of me? This is what you really think of me? This is how y'all really feel? Those are situations and circumstances that we have to look at as well. Go ahead, Priest Mikael.
But then their brothers mock him. Didn't their brothers mock him?
Yeah. Why?
So however Yahweh deal with you. However, he said, oh no, I'm going to make this come to pass. Whether you want to or not. Remember, Elder always say, he, himself, may forgive you for the things that you have done. Mm-hmm. But your problem is not him. Your problem is the one that sits right behind him.
Right.
That ultimately makes these decisions. Now, however Yahweh got to get these boys to bow down, like he used Joseph mouthpiece to tell his brothers, his mother and his father, these things that he dreamed of. And when he told them that, they laughed him to scorn.
And what happened to Yahshua? They didn't believe he could do the
Exactly
miracles.
what.
Now, didn't that the same thing with Saul? Saul had to go to Damascus, to them
Exactly.
people. No, you're going to have to deal with them people.
Ex-
Okay?
Exactly.
Y'all going to have to go to yourself and deal with that person.
Exactly.
We keep trying to bypass the person that we did wrong to think we can move on. No, you're going to have to deal with that person. At least you're going to have to deal with this one. I think you'd rather deal with that person, man, woman, brother, sister, than have to deal with that entity that you don't see. So when you're being compelled and pushed to go deal with that person, take heed and go deal with that person. My brothers and sisters, I love y'all and I'd like to continue to be around y'all. I don't want to hear that something happened to you. Go ahead, Priest Mikael.
You read verse 19. Verse 19. And Yosef said unto them, fear not, for I am in the place of Elohim.
Okay. See the position that he was put in? I'm in the place of Elohim. So now you don't get to talk to the man. The man put me in this place. You're going to have to deal with me. Go ahead.
Verse 20. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but Elohim meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore, fear you not. I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them.
So what did Joseph say? To bring it to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Not to just save you. This wasn't about just saving you. Much people. What was told to Abram? You will be a blessing to the families of the earth. Is this not now passed down into the hand of Joseph? Is not this in Joseph's hand to be a blessing to the families of the earth? Go ahead.
And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived in 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children in the third generation, the children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brothers, I die, and Elohim will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land, unto the land which I swear to Abraham, to Esaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt.
All right. Can you read the definition for accursed for me, please?
Accursed, from H2763. Cherem, a primitive root, to seclude, specifically by a ban, to devote to religious uses, especially destruction, physically and reflexively, to be blunt as to the nose, make accursed, consecrate, utterly destroy, devote, forfeit, have a flat nose, utterly.
So to be cursed and to be accursed seems like it's almost the same thing, huh?
Yes.
All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 9.
Exodus chapter 1 and verse 9. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they're falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Python and Ramses.
So even though he's afraid, and we seem like at some point we'll be an accursed thing, We're still the ones who's building their cities and making everything happen for them. We're still the one that's carrying on and blessing the Egyptians, although these words were uttered out of Pharaoh's mouth. Start at chapter 2 and verse 1 for me, please.
Chapter 2 and verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife, a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to know what would be done to him. The daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to you a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give you your wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moshe. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brother.
I want y'all to keep in mind of one thing. She, Pharaoh's daughter, called his name Moshe. They're Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
He was not named by his parents. If we don't know what name they gave him. She called him Moshe. She said, because I drew him out of the water. That's what Moshe means. But let's keep in mind that that is an Egyptian name. That is not a Hebrew name. Go ahead.
Verse 11, And it came to pass in those days when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brothers, and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian, smiting a Hebrew, one of his brothers. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smited you your fellow? And he said, Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Intended though to kill me, as you killed the Egyptian? And Moshe feared, and said, Surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian.
So Moshe comes up in a time when Pharaoh has his own thought processes of how the children of Israel is going to grow and one day come against them in a war. But then he raises an Israelite in his house. And this Israelite, no matter how much he was in the house and raised in the house, was to do what Yahweh had bid for him. So at that point in time, the blessings of Israel cannot be held in. You're going to do your job. I don't care how much you've got going on or what you got going on. When it's time to be activated, we hear about them, what they call them, cells. When you're activated, you're activated. Sleeper cells. So think of Moshe as a sleeper cell. He was raised up in all their fine arts and all their stuff, and when it was time for Yahweh to activate the sleeper cell, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to do your job. You finished with that? Yeah, I think that was.
And he sat down by a well.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 2.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. Now when Yeshua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born, King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where the Messiah should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Yehudah, are not the least among the princes of Yehudah. For out of you shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when you have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star, which they saw in the east, went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Miriam, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of Elohim in a dream, they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Adonai appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And be you there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of by the Adonai, by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding angry, and sent forth, and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
So Herod sent out a decree to kill all the children that were born around that time from 2 years old and under. Do we not see the same thing happen during Moshe's time? That's why Moshe was hid. And what did Yahweh say to Moshe when he met Moshe and he was putting him on the course? He said, See, I put you in the stead of Elohim. So he put him in that walk that Yahshua would then turn around and do. But at that point in time, he was put in the stead of the Adonai to do a job, which was to free his people, save his people. Yahshua would come behind and do the same thing. So we can see how Herod was afraid of us as a people becoming a curse onto them. Pharaoh was afraid of us also becoming a curse onto them. But yet, a Messiah, a deliverer, was raised up to be a blessing onto the children of Israel. Yahweh doesn't do anything that he don't tell his children. He don't do anything that he don't allow us to see and understand. He keeps raising up saviors. But within these saviors, we see blessings, because with Moshe moving out, we read where the mixed multitude went out. That means they got their opportunity to get up from under Pharaoh as well. Yahshua's next return, the whole world's going to get the opportunity to get up from under all these pharaohs. Because what? Every man back to his own vine and fig tree. That means everybody going to go back to their own land. So everybody gets to partake in the blessing that was given to Abraham, and you shall all the nations be blessed. So to think that we are it and ain't nobody else can be blessed, we're fooling ourselves because right now they're being blessed through us. And we're the ones that are not benefiting from the blessings because we're under the curses. But it's still a blessing to be alive in this day and age. All right, let's look at the beginnings of Israel being a blessing unto others. Let's go to Genesis chapter 13. I'm going to read verses 1 through 5. Genesis 13, verses 1 through 5. Because we didn't just start being a blessing to the nation. We're a blessing from the onset that it was told Abram at the time, that in you shall the families of the earth be blessed. Genesis 13, we're going to read verses 1 through 5.
And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents.
So Lot just went along and Lot was blessed. Just from just going along with Abram. He also got the blessings. In you shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Let's go to chapter 30. Genesis 30, and we're going to read verses 25 to 27. So we see that right away, people start getting blessings from Abram. But that's what Yahweh said. That's what Yahweh decreed. Genesis chapter 30, verses 25 and 20 through 27.
Verse 25. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto my own place and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and let me go. For you know of my service which I have done you. And Laban said unto him, I pray you, if I have found favor in your eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that Yahweh has blessed me for your sake.
I have learned by experience that I'm blessed because you here. So why don't you tarry? Why don't you stay? I need you to stay so I can keep getting blessings from you. That's what we carry. That's what we have with us. Right now, if you look with all of this ICE stuff going on, our time coming, but they ain't trying to get the children of Israel up out of here. They ain't tired. That you think they're tired of being blessed yet? No, they still need the blessings. The time will come, but they're not ready to give up those blessings yet. Let's go to Genesis chapter 32. Genesis 32 and read verses 24 through 28 for me.
And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he had prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. And he said, I will not let you go, except you bless me. And he said unto him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince have you power with Elohim and with men, and has prevailed.
So do you understand? As the children of Israel, you have power with Elohim and with men. But we would rather exalt our power over men.
And what power is that? Real quick, what power is that? Physical?
No, we think it's physical. We think it's physical. We try to exalt our physical might on one another, not understanding that they're using us for the spiritual blessings that we have. The nations are using and feeding off the spiritual blessings. We the ones exalting our muscles,
Right.
our smarts on one another. We don't see the spiritual blessings and understand the spiritual blessings. Let's go to Genesis chapter 39. That extends to the whole nation of Israel. You have power with Elohim.
Genesis 39, verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had put into his hands.
So, and that Yahweh made all that he had to prosper. It says, and his master saw that Yahweh was with him. They know, they see. We don't see. We don't understand. This man is not an Israelite that sees this. He was what we would call the heathen. But the heathen is able to see the blessings that's coming into his house because of that man. Don't think that America don't know the blessings that came to this house because of them people. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessings of Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
You know, it's funny that he said he left all that he had in his hand, right? He knew not aught that he had. We've heard about Elder talk about how it'll be our women that will protect master's stuff more than anybody else. You go down to the bank, and it'll be one of the sisters that want to your fingerprint, your child's fingerprint, everything before they cash a check because they think that you up to something fraudulent. They leave everything in your hand because they know you going to protect their stuff. Jump to verse 20 for me, please.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison.
Now, this part here happens. Why? Because somebody else sees the blessings and is jealous. Really, she's jealous of the position that he has in the house that she is mistress of. But she still don't have the position and power that he has. Just like I'm sure that the master didn't know what was in the house because all things was in Joseph's hand, I'm sure the wife didn't know either. So then there becomes some type of jealousy. The lust of the position got her eyes fixed on him. Because this man is making things happen. Go ahead.
But Yahweh was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahweh was with him. And that which he did, Yahweh made it to prosper.
Here's another situation again where this man don't even know what's going on in the prison that he run. You good, Joseph? Why? Because Joseph taking care of everything. He's now in prison and they're still being able to see the blessings that he brings. But how do you benefit from the blessings? You go ahead and take everything. I'm going to sit back and relax. Now I can be at ease because that Hebrew got it. But it also lets you know what? As Hebrews, we should be what? Trustworthy. But we're trustworthy to the nations. We're not trustworthy to one another. We're a blessing to the nations. We don't extend our blessings to one another. Instead, we become a curse and a terror to one another. Let's go to Genesis chapter 41 and start with 45 and 46 for me, please.
Genesis chapter 41, verses 45 and 46. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name, Zapanath Paneah.
So, Joseph done got sold by his brothers. Joseph done worked domestic work in a house. Joseph done became a prisoner and did some time. Now he's moving on. Let's go ahead.
And he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, a priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all of the land of Egypt.
So now Joseph is in a power of position. At what age? 30. What age was Yeshua when he got baptized?
30.
Joseph is the second in command. What is Yeshua?
Second in command.
Okay. Keep going.
Verse 55.
We're jumping to verse 55. Go ahead.
And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, Go unto yourself. What he say to you, do.
Whatever this man tell you to do, go do it. So for all of those who might have indignation because we know the Egyptians and the Hebrews don't really get along, but you need to go to him for your blessing. Him that you might not like. Him that you might not want to deal with holds your blessing. Go ahead.
And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was sore in all lands.
What was told Abram? You will be a blessing to all the families of the earth. Who just saved the families of the earth? A Hebrew Israelite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was put in a position. Did Yahweh lie when he told Abram that? From what I see, the nations keep getting blessed. From what was given to Abram, which then passed down through his seeds from generation to generation. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 5. 2 Kings chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 14.
Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him Yahweh had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captives out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife.
I want you all to think about that. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid. Captive. Go ahead.
And she said unto her mistress, Would Elohim my master were with the prophet that is in Samaria? For he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went in and told his master, saying, Thus and thus, said the maid that is of the land of Israel.
Now, would Elohim my master were with the prophets that is in Samaria, for they would recover him of his leprosy. You got to go to the prophets. But that's what we don't want to deal with, is the law and the prophets. Therefore, so the leprosy that we contain is what? The spot that's in our belief, our culture, our thought process. Leprosy is spots. We have leprosy in our walk because what? We don't want to go to the prophets, the law, the prophets. We don't want to deal with those things. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed, and took with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now, when this letter is come unto you, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes, and said, I am Elohim.
Am I Elohim?
Am I Elohim to kill and to make alive, that this man does send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeks a quarrel against me.
But here's the problem. If we know who is amongst us, we know who has what ability, then he shouldn't have had to get upset and rent his clothes. Mm-hmm. He should have been able to say, nah, you need to go see this man. And that's what I'm talking about with us understanding each other's several abilities. Instead of getting upset because you're not capable of doing something, guide the person to the person that does know how to do it. Give instructions to go get instructions. Go ahead.
And it was so, when Elisha the man of Elohim had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore has you rent your clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall come again to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was angry, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought he would surely come out unto me,
I think, I feel, I believe. That's us. Go ahead.
and stand and call on the name of Yahweh, his Elohim, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid you to do some great thing, would you have not done it? How much rather then, when he says to you, wash and be clean?
And this is our problem with instructions. He's been given instructions of what to do. He wanted his own thought process, what he think he feel and believe, and going off angry. Here comes people talking to him saying, hey man, just calm down and go do this. But you know what we'll do? Go look for advice somewhere else. Because we still really don't want to go about it that way. We want to go about it our own way. Go ahead.
Or we wanted to be a spectacle.
Hey, that too. But yeah, we're going to make a spectacle of you.
Verse 14, Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Elohim. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
But he had enough sense to back up at some point and follow his instructions. Go ahead.
And he returned to the man of Elohim, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no Elohim in all the earth, but in Israel. Now therefore, I pray you, take a blessing of your servant.
All right, my brother. Let's hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 23.
Psalm chapter 23, verse 1. Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. But the rod and the staff is what? Yahweh's law, statutes, and judgments and commandments. That's your rod and your staff. Those things are with me. So if I carry those things with me, then I have no reason to fear evil. Now it's funny. This is Dawid. He mentions the rod and the staff, right? Mm-hmm. Definition for rod, H4294, Mathah, from H5186, a branch, as extending, figuratively a tribe, also a rod, whether for chastening, figuratively correction. What does Yahweh's law, statutes, and judgments do? Correct. Okay? Ruling, a scepter, throwing a lance, or walking. A staff, figuratively a support of life. For example, bread, rod, and guess what? Staff. So he said your rod and your staff, but the rod and the staff is the same thing. He uses the two words like it's something different, but it's not. A rod and a staff. A rod is for correction. Do you understand? A staff is something you can lean on for support. Do you understand that a staff is also a weapon? For the short period of time I did Kung Fu, that's the only weapon I learned was the staff. So even though he's using those two words and it sounds like it's two different words, it's the same word. Go ahead, Priest Mikael.
All right, you said the rod and staff. Something clicked in my mind. When you're young, you're chastised.
With the rod. When you old, you lean on the staff.
You lean on the staff.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Yes, sir.
So guess what? Raise up a child in the way they should go.
Yes,
the rod. Mm-hmm. And when he gets old, he should not depart. The staff.
Lean on it.
Go ahead and finish up for me, please.
You prepared a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yah forever.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So Israel, we are that blessing to the nations. They understand what we bring. Yes, we're under the curses, but we understand why we're under the curses. But let's still understand that we still are a blessing. We are the blessing to the nations. So let's not get downtrodden by just knowing that we're under the curses. We still carry the blessings. We still are able to also uplift one another and be a blessing onto one another. Let's not just let the nations alone benefit from us. Let us benefit from us. That's all for today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.